LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't predict the future, but it can help you feel confident about future hires. Because Hiring Pro combines real-time insights and candidate data from the LinkedIn network with the criteria you've set for your role to deliver you a list of top-fit candidates. Businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
This episode is brought to you by Beneful. Mornings are when the grind starts. Stretches, immaculate. Cardio, crushed it. Territory, marked. Sorry, geraniums. The dog routine is on point, but it can get a little wolf. That's why I fuel up with high-protein Beneful freshly prepared meals. I'm eating clean with real meat and veggies, served fresh from the pantry. Kick boring in the bowl with Beneful freshly prepared meals. Visit Purina.com/Beneful to shop now.
Welcome to Disney Hers, the show about what's happening in the Disney community from his, hers, and your perspective. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Eric, and on today's show, we're asking a question a lot of Disney fans are actually starting to ask out loud. Is Disney finally listening to us? And then we're going to break down what that actually looks like in real money and real perks for those annual pass holders this summer.
All right, but before we get started, we want to remind you that Disney Hers can be found on all your favorite podcast platforms and also in video format on YouTube and Spotify. We would absolutely love it if you could head over to Apple, give us a review, and let us know what you want to hear us talk about on a future episode. All right, well, let's get into it. So we're asking the question, is Disney actually listening to us now? So for the last couple years, a lot of Disney fans have felt like the company has stopped caring. Whether you've had a good day, a bad day, was it magical or not, I think that this probably cropped up in the JPEG era, if had to guess, and they've been slowly trying to unwrap mess.
Yeah, no, I mean, imagine talking about this is going to lose all our endorsement deals, Lauren. No, no, but like Genie Plus and park reservation headaches, they're obviously like the price hikes. Rides breaking down or maybe attractions that aren't living up to necessarily expectations. We talked a little bit about lines not necessarily feeling as great anymore. So yes, there's a little bit of headaches, so we don't want to be necessarily a Debbie Downer when it comes to all the Disney stuff. But we are talking from the fan community, and we all kind of complain a little bit, and I think it's much deserved sometimes, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I just felt like over the last, years since COVID, it was like every time that something went wrong, Disney's answer was like, well, did you buy Lightning Lane? Did you buy the upgrade? Did you get the door? And so, I mean, it's cropped up, but I have definitely felt like something in the last couple years has shifted, and there is actually some evidence behind us saying, is Disney listening? I mean, are things going to be perfect 100% of the time at a Disney theme park? No. But we know that the parks are now playing such a huge role in the profitability of the company, and companies exist to ultimately make good financial decisions for the shareholders. So they're balancing, how do we continue to be profitable, but also listen to the community as well. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and let's look at the evidence that they actually are listening. All right. So
yeah, you're going to have to sell me hardcore because I'm not sure I'm bought in. I will listen and hear you out on this.
So I'm going to try my best to convince you, Eric, with my evidence that Disney is listening, and let's see how I do here. Number one thing we're looking at is ride reliability, and I think that it is measurably better, but just since COVID, we're looking at a ton of downtime with the rides. And you look at things like rise of resistance going down, Especially, and we've been in that line before where you've waited an hour and now the ride is down and you don't know when it's coming back up. I mean, we've dealt with this at Epic and stuff too, but that is extremely frustrating for guests because we've talked about time is money. And I mean, like somebody had said, this is Tecmo
Super Bowl one. All
1.
right. Yeah,
I
that's
knew
my whole
you'd like that
childhood.
name. But they said, we just got back from 4 days in the park. So we went to Magic Kingdom 2 days, Epcot 2 days, and Hollywood Studios. And this is a list of rides that broke down while we were physically in the parks. So this one was from 2 years ago. I need to give you that disclaimer. But it was Haunted Mansion, Pirates, Peter Pan, Small World, Journey of the Little Mermaid, Space Mountain, Tron, Mickey's Runaway Railway, Rise, Tower of Terror, Seas with Nemo, Frozen Ever After, and Test Track. And they go on to say it was 5 years since their last trip to Disney, and quite a bit has changed. They are not thrilled, and how much time was wasted on these rides being broken down. And they were asking if that is normal. And so I have to say that is 13 attractions in 4 days. That could be a lot. But if we're looking at what's actually changed, because I did the research on it. So at Disneyland, they carried 1.5 million additional rides in the fiscal year 2025 compared to the year before. That's from proactive maintenance work. It included better parts management because that was one of the issues, and specifically targeting the spots that were causing like breakdowns. So just giving you like a couple little examples. So like Radiator Springs Racers, like if you're going to Disneyland and you're going to California Adventure, like that is one of the absolute must-dos. So each vehicle has 200 plus parts being rebuilt on a set schedule. And so like where before they were being reactive, now they're being proactive, and that's making a big difference day to day how many people can experience that ride. I know this isn't sexy stuff, but they have expanded overnight maintenance windows. Like I said, they're looking at those proven failure points because they have the data, but like looking at Rise specifically, like they found that there were floor spots where the trackless vehicles were faulting every time. So those have been replaced during a 2026 refurb. Space Mountain, looking at new load and unload flow being made permanent, that has shown increases. So, I mean, there's been a number of things, but I mean, they have improved their time. I mean, have you noticed any type of difference?
Well, yeah, I noticed one thing, and that is that they look a lot better because there's a park down the road that is having a horrible time with efficiency. So, like, number one, regardless from a personal perspective, there's still probably downtime. I know there's probably reports out there that says, hey, how often is Rise still down compared? So there is actual data that we can look to see if they're doing any better. But it's nice that they're going out there and proactively working on that. Now, I am a little bit more cynical in this aspect, and I also say, well, when rides are down, they lose money from Lightning Lane, because so there is a motivation. It's not 100%. Now, granted, at the end of the day, though, if the attractions are up and running, that benefits us all, even if the motivation might be because, hey, we're losing some dollars here and we're having to give away some of these passes to make goods or so forth. So, I mean, I would love to see if we can find some actual data that goes with some of these statements that Disney is coming out with. But I would love to hear from everybody else. What's your thoughts on, like you said, we're going to be going down by the next couple episodes. We're going to be down in the parks and we'll get to notice ourselves. But, I don't necessarily find ourselves having a whole bunch of downtime. Like we usually get stuck on at least an Omnimover ride once or twice, and I'm fine with it, especially like Spaceship Earth. We'll sit there. Let me just watch the guy paint, over and over for a little bit. I feel like it's nice and peaceful. In Rome, you get the nice scent. So I don't mind some of them breaking down if I'm on the ride.
All right. Okay. So moving on to the next one is like cast member hospitality. So we got a comment from Blue Eyed Debbie, and they said, observation, the cast members are not as friendly as they used to be. And so this is also Disneyland. At Disneyland now, so far, in the 2.5 hours we've been in the park, I've noticed from several cast members that they're curt, not exactly friendly. They're not angry, they're just short with everybody. But they go on to say that, being in the park, they just don't think the cast members are as friendly. So then somebody says, this is Big Thunder Ranch Goat. I work with a former cast member who has told me guests has gotten much more difficult to work with since COVID. They have been direct or curt, or people will attempt to walk all over them if they argue, if they keep pushing back. They just have to be more blunt. So that is, one reason here. But Disney has come out and said that they have publicly admitted that after the 2021 reopening, that 60% of Disneyland cast members have been hired in a rush. Many of them had never been even to a Disney theme park before, so that is probably one of the why guests felt it. But they also came out, this was the new Experiences chairman Thomas Mazzolam, and he's made it his entire focus in rebuilding hospitality in the parks. So this is what he said. He is overhauling cast member training, which we know is super important. Like I did the Disney Institute. They're bringing back a hospitality first mindset. And their whole mantra is create happy or create happiness. Like that is the foundation of everything that they do. And his whole leadership framework is built around one idea and one idea alone, that the most important thing now is how the guest feels throughout the day, not what rides they rode or food that they eat. It all comes down to how they feel. And I will tell you, when we were in Disneyland the last time, I remember mentioning to you that, at least the people in California, they just seem like they're not as nice or magical as in, the people in Florida. I feel like it was slightly better this time. But what do you think, Eric?
Oh man, this is a tricky one because you could have one person that had a bad day and then you could stereotype the entire crew. I imagine that all the cast members that like their job are pleasant and cheery, and those that don't like their job are probably more curt. And if you've worked retail or you worked in anything, it's just a matter of unfortunately, not everybody is always happy all the time. And even though it's your job to be happy all the time, that doesn't happen. And I've worked with lots of people, and so have you. You've been a server and also in sales and stuff like that. Yeah, people aren't the nicest. We're talking guests, and I imagine that the price and the time and the heat, all of this makes people even more grumpy. So yeah, I don't think I've ever had any issues with cast members, to be quite honest. But then again, I'm also coming from a background where I know, this is their job, and if I'm mean to them, then that isn't going to necessarily get a nice positive response from me. So I think you reap what you sow.
So in California, these are probably more people that are, because it's such a regional park, these are people that maybe are aspiring working in the entertainment industry, not necessarily Disney people. Where in Florida, if you look at their name tags, you see people from all around the world, and it is their choice to come and work there. I think that makes a big difference too, if it's aspirational and you really want to be there versus you just need a gig.
Right. If it's just your job because this is the best thing you can get, you might not be bought into the culture as much, where it just seems like Walt Disney World is filled with those that are hey, I'm going here specifically. I know a lot of people that moved to Florida just to visit Walt Disney World. I don't know too many people that didn't move to Anaheim for the same reason. So maybe it's just different. But once again, I don't think we can categorize everyone based off of several examples. I don't think I have a large enough market like data to say, yeah, they're nicer or they're worse than they once were, you know?
Okay, so I could be going, this could be a stretch, this next one, so just stay with me here. So the castle at Disney World got repainted because fans complained. I know that it's not 100% true.
No, I think it is. I will say
Do you
that.
think it is?
Yeah,
because the fan community
Why else?
hated the pink castle.
Right, why else would they paint it back? If the fan community
For
loved
merch.
it. No, I don't think so. I think
It's been
let's
years,
chalk this
Eric.
up as a win. This is a win
Okay,
for the
we're
community.
gonna just chalk it up as a win. All right,
Don't
castle.
argue with us. We won this win.
They
we got the
listened.
castle back. All right, go
All
to the
right.
next.
All right, so classic rides are getting real upgrades, not just paint. I mean, it could have something to do with Epic, but I'm going to say that they're doing it for us, the fans, because we know Big Thunder, Buzz Lightyear, Smuggler's Run, Rock and Roller Coaster, they're all getting those big rehauls in 2026. I mean, I think that this is a big one. Because it's not just, I mean, Smuggler's Run, yes, we're getting a new video, or Soaring Across America, yeah, we're getting a new video. But I mean, Buzz Lightyear, like, those are meaningful updates that we're getting to make it more enjoyable and to modernize.
Oh, I don't know. This is a tough one because there's definitely an ulterior motive here, right? You have to keep things updated for people to want to come back. I would look at the things that cost them money that they didn't have to do to determine if this is really the fan community or them listening to us, right? If it costs them money to do something that they didn't have to do, that's always a thing that they want to increase the experience. I mean, obviously Big Thunder Mountain, I don't know if there was any type of that ride was fine, right? There wasn't anybody complaining about it or anything like that. So I don't know if it was just routine maintenance and then they're updating this and that. But if they did like the end scene and updated just to make a better experience, then I would say, yeah, that is because they want us to have a better experience. Things like Buzz Lightyear was super aged, but it always still had a weight. So like I could see that being a better experience. Smuggler's Run.
Let me ask you a question, though. So just a couple months ago, it came out that Disney is pushing the Galaxy Edge timeline back to incorporate like more traditional Star Wars characters like Darth Vader, Leia, Han Solo, like the whole like original queue. Do you think that's because it's been a fan complaint since day one, or do you think that they're just like, well, we need to give people, the Star Wars fans that have already seen it, a reason to come back?
Yeah, I don't think it's from complaints. I think if they wanted to actually hear what we said, they would have taken all the stuff they announced, like the roaming droids and walk around characters in terms of aliens and stuff like that, and had that immersion, and they would bring that back. But that would cost even more money and so forth. So I think this is a cheap fix to try to localize and realize it's a fault. They're basically admitting fault that, hey, we would have probably been better off if we relied on these characters that everybody loved and once knew. So it's a slow trickle back in time. But this is super not that's not expensive at all to be like, all right, we got Leia, Han Solo, Luke now. They're going back on what they promised this land to be, which was an immersion and everybody talking and, you know, in this specific language, and you would essentially have roles and everybody would play their part. They're abandoning that completely, and they're just like, here's some quick fixes. I don't think this is us winning anything. This is just the evolution of that park. And I think Smuggler's Run is the exact same thing. It's just, hey, we really didn't care about, you know, this storyline and this coaxium, so we're now going to throw Mandalorian and Grogu in there. This is half and half. There are elements that I see us absolutely as a fan community, like being able to hold up our trophy and say, we won this one. Where the other ones I also see 100% being like, this is them trying to monetize or make something work in their corporate favor. Now, the other one, though, that you're talking, there are discounts. I mean, literally, that the one thing that I absolutely believe is when we saw $99 all-star rooms and just different discounts on hotel rooms and stuff. I mean, that is, hey, we've either outpriced ourselves or we know that you're not necessarily thinking of coming here for whatever reason, but we want you to come back. Granted, the cynic in me obviously knows why they have empty hotel rooms, but I do think like they're trying to win our favor back. They're apologizing through discounts and buying us stuff, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's always a reason behind why we're seeing what we're seeing. Like we talked about Epic. We've talked about, at least on I Want That Too, we've talked about enticing families with young children to come back into the park. So like free dining for kids with qualifying packages, those free water park days. Like they have to do something, but they are also continuing a lot of that stuff into 2027. I feel like as pass holders, they did not do themselves any favors with the pass holder community after the demand was so high after the pandemic, and that hurt them. I mean, there are so many people in the pass holder like communities that they're like, this is the first time that I have not been a pass holder in 20 years, etc. So I think that they are going back now, especially as, not to get into politics at all, but I mean, on the earnings call, it is concerning for Disney as far as international travel goes, because depending on who you ask, they would say that the U.S. is not like friendly right now, and it has affected them. So whether it is they're listening to us and they're giving the discounts because of that, or it's, for their own reasons, I want to chalk it up as a win. So that leads us to the question. I mean, do you think that this is genuinely them listening, or is it because Epic Universe is opening, or they've, not done right by the pass holders, or they've alienated families with kids for the more attractive, what do they call them, dinks? Double income, no kids, or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
I think so, yeah.
Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I think that is, nothing is done in a vacuum here. So it is going to be impossible to know, like, hey, are they just trying to make us all happy and they're doing right by the community, or there's these other factors down there. So I think that's certainly something to look at. But you mentioned pass holders. So I think that we're going to take a real quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about some of that pass holder perks that you were discussing when we get back from this.
And is it worth it to become a pass holder in 2026? But first, this.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
And we're back. Okay, so we just made the case for Disney trying harder, right? Now let's
At least I made the case. Did I convince you?
Did you make... Listen, you had some good points, but I don't know if it's necessarily completely sold.
All right. Well, even if I didn't, let's talk about what is most important and how these changes affect your wallet, because that's where it matters. Did you see the news come out about the VIP pass holder summer days that they've released the specifics?
Oh, there's all types of good, generous things that's going on, right? But that's if you're a pass holder, right? Or no?
Yes, if you are a pass holder. So let's talk about first how Disney, I believe, is making this even better. From when this came out in 2024, I've just been tracking trends here to say, okay, well, are they trying to show their pass holders a little bit more love? And I know that, Universal does something very, very similar. So that just gives them more competition. And we know when competition is there that we end up winning as the consumer. So if you're not familiar, VIP Pass Holder Summer Days kicks off May 1st and runs through July 31st of this year. That is 3 full months of these exclusive perks, and it is the most generous version of this program that Disney has ever run since the inception in 2024.
Yeah, so if you're not a pass holder, just stay with us, because this is possibly how they are promoting loyalty, right?
Yeah, so I think it gives you the inside track on how Disney is thinking about rewarding loyalty. And, that affects everyone eventually. So let's look at some of the perks and how they've improved over time. So the first one is there's 40% off of 12 table service dining restaurants across all 4 parks and select resorts. So that is, get this, Eric, that is double the normal pass holder discount. So
Yeah.
standard AP discount is 20%, and in 2024, we were in that range. I don't even think they did a discount, and then starting last year, they bumped that up to 40%, but at 10 restaurants. So we're getting the same discount as last year, but they added 2 additional restaurants, and they're rotating this in 2 phases. So across like the 3-month period, but just some little disclaimers, like you have with everything, is this is Monday through Thursday only, but for the first time it includes Be Our Guest and the Crystal Palace. So neither one appeared in 2024 or 2025. I think that's a win.
Man, 40%. So, I mean, obviously, if you're Monday through Thursday, and a lot of people are traveling, I guess annual passes are primarily people within a driving distance, right? We're the outliers that are annual pass holders because we go multiple times a year. But like most of the time, you're doing a Monday through Sunday trip, so to speak. So just make sure that you hit these places up when you're in the parks on Monday through Thursday. I think that's a tremendous discount. 40% off. I've never seen anything like that.
It's amazing. It really is. And so even like us quick service people were like, maybe. All right, let's talk about the pass holder lounge. So Eric, I know that you have thoughts on the 2024 pass holder lounge. Do you just want to like refresh people's memory what that was? Do you remember?
Was it the Marrakesh? Is that what it was?
Wasn't it? It was in.
Oh no, yes. All right. So no. This was inside the land pavilion.
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
It was right across from Living with the Land. They literally just blocked off a little section, and they did have like a cast member there that was letting you in, but
It was so bad.
Was nothing. I mean, like you expected it to be like an actual like different room or something like that. It looked just like anywhere else. I mean, the biggest part, they gave us some Zerg nuts. I remember that was the big thing, is like we got some Zerg nuts, which is...
Was it Zerg nut? What was it? And you got like a sticker.
Yeah, it was wasn't that... Yeah, it's so unremarkable that I forgot that was even a lounge. I just thought it was like, all right, you're sitting over here and somebody was just giving you some snacks along the way.
Yeah,
but no, then they did open up Marrakesh, I think, the following year.
Yes.
That was, I don't know if it was for pass holders only or if anybody could go and wait in there.
Yeah, I think they opened it up for the first time during COVID as like one of those relaxation stations.
Okay.
And then they made this the pass holder lounge. So it's returning this year. If you're not familiar, that is in the Morocco Pavilion in Epcot. That lounge is open 11 to 7. There are complimentary snacks, water, and Moroccan mint tea. There is also a PhotoPass animated magic shot, which is new to 2026. And I think that there is a character meet and greet, which they had in 2024, not last year, and then bringing it back. So that's exciting. You're also getting a free pass holder button. And in 2024, that lounge only ran from May 1st to June 18th, and it's running the full 3 months this year. So that's pretty nice. I'm excited for the nice AC lounge for pass holders.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a nice new place to go hang out. We'll get to check it out and report back if it was worth it or not. It's hopefully a little bit better than the previous version, but we will find out soon enough. What is another perk we got? We always get free magnets, so I know that has to be on the list.
Yes. So we got to talk about the merch. I do a merch podcast. So you're going to get a free Toy Story magnet this year featuring Buzz and Woody. Any idea why, Eric? Why are we getting Toy Story magnets?
I was hoping just to get like a Conan O'Brien magnet, because that's what I'm excited about with Toy Story 5 is he's a character. I don't remember what character he is, but yeah, there's a movie coming out.
Yeah, so that happens every year. Again, limit one per pass holder. There is an exclusive popcorn bucket that is designed by illustrator Ashley Taylor, and that is going to be available in just like random popcorn carts across all 4 parks in Disney Springs. And then, like normal, we're going to get new pass holder merch, which has pretty typical stuff like Loungefly, t-shirts, hoodies, like that kind of stuff. Your 20% pass holder merch discount still applies on all of that stuff. So, the merch is also dropping at Creation Shop and Epcot on May 1st, and then is going to be rolled into the Emporium and Disney Springs Discovery Trading Company. So you'll see those around the week of May 10th. So again, I mean, merch, but like, what do you think, Eric? Do you think they're showing some love and how they're rewarding loyalty for their
Well,
most devoted audience?
Well, I think that the discount on the food is the best that I've seen, right? Because I think that's an easy way to get people into the parks and to spend some money, and obviously they're cutting into their margins a bit there. So I think that's the biggest. Everything else seems to be kind of the same. We'll see how that restaurant Marrakesh looks. We'll see if it's all decked out and real snazzy, then maybe. But I think everything else is a nice little perk, but I think that 40% dining discount is the big one. So I'm wondering, for those that are maybe just going to the park maybe like once, even if you're local and you just buy your couple day passes, I wonder if it would be beneficial to buy an annual pass to get some of these like discounted meals for these 3 months. Do you think it's worth the upgrading if you're just you go there once a year or something like that?
Well, like let's take a look at it. But real talk here, like Disney needs bodies in the parks in the summer. Epcot is without a festival. Animal Kingdom is in the middle of huge construction, and attendance is softer than they would want, and they need pass holders to fill the gap. But like you said, like, somebody that lives locally or maybe even not locally, like, would it make sense to, buy a pass to get some of those discounts? So I was in the community, and this one came from WDW Prep School, and they asked the question, are annual passes worth it? They said probably not, but here's some things to consider, and I do disagree with that. But they have this snazzy chart that they had, and it had a ton of comments. So it's like, can you save money with an annual pass? So they're looking at total pre-tax cost in 3 cases: an on-site park hopper, off-site park hopper, plus $35 a day parking, and a flat $1,629 in credit pass. So I just wanted to share with you some of the comments from this post and, hear what the community has to say. What's up first, Eric?
No, here's one. Heather, she says, we never save money because once you're an AP as an outstate traveler, you'll find more reasons to take additional trips. And it's glorious, but never cheaper. And I recommend and give a thumbs up and a heart and a laughy face all in this Facebook comment, because that is the absolute truth. Once you're an annual pass holder, you find excuses why you got to go there, because you can get in the park for free, air quotes, right?
Yes. All right. Then we have Happily Adventures After. We found that an AP is worth it if for 2 visits in the park per year. We usually go for the AP argument, or we usually go longer than 4 days and stay off site. The parking really starts to add up, therefore is a huge benefit for AP arguments. They go on to say that AP allows us to not feel rushed or locked into days that we're there. We also like the discounts on merch and the extra event tickets, dining, like all that stuff does add up. So what is the break-even math? So I just want to make sure the math is mathing here. So using the credit pass example of $1,629 and a median 4-day trip costing about $559 per person, you would need 3 trips to break even. So by the 3rd trip, then it's paying for itself. And if you use the median single day ticket price of $184, you would need 9 single days to break even. Spoiler alert there. What do you think? You think it's worth the pass?
Oh, it'd be really difficult. Now, one thing I will tell you, if you're DVC, which and you can get the Sorcerer Pass, or there's a whole bunch of other passes. Incredipass Pass is the one that anybody can get at any point in the country and so forth. So if you're making 3 trips, obviously, and those have to be longer trips, then that math doesn't necessarily come together. Now, granted, once again, you could look at things like the discounts that you would get, and what you do down at the park would also matter. But for a Sorcerer Pass, for us, we basically have to go at least 2 weeks. So 2 trips for us is basically the break even that allows us. So that's why we typically buy one.
Living in West Virginia.
Right. And then when you renew it, you get a discount as well. 15%, so it makes it cheaper the next time around. So if Disney is your life, then you probably should even consider looking at DVC, because once again, that is a thing that you're going. When we justified it, it was once every 3 years. We were going to go at least once every 3 years. In this case, we try to go as frequently as possible, and all our neighbors look at us funny, but that is perfectly fine. But yeah, so I would say it's difficult to justify an Incredipass. Because most people are going once, maybe twice. And if you need 3, then just, optimize your trip. And that's why you have people that are, they'll do pool days, and they'll be very selective on when they go to the park. Where we also have that lifestyle when we go down there, if we feel like hopping into Epcot for one ride and then jumping over somewhere else, it just fits us well. So that's how we prioritize it. So it works for us, but we want to hear from you. Are you annual pass holders? Where do you live? Are you in Florida? What kind of math have you done to justify and sell your your significant other, or sell yourself the reason why you need an annual pass?
Yes. All right. But that does it for this week's episode of Diz and Hers. Make sure you hit up dizandhers.com. There you'll find articles, episodes, and updates. And if Disney is your vibe, make sure you subscribe.
And remember, watch what you post online. You might end up in next week's episode. Thanks for listening.